It will save the state millions, but should we let people charged with a crime stay out of jail? Hear from one man waiting for his trial.
And now, first in Alaska, this is the KTVA 11 Evening News.
It cost the state of Alaska about $200,000 a day to keep people in jail while they wait for their trial.
But a new law is not only saving the state money, it's also giving Alaskans charged with crimes an incentive to stay out of trouble. KTVA 11's Eric Rubel explains what's going on. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Joe and Emily, that's right. So this new law will allow alleged offenders to essentially use the time they spend in ankle bracelets before trial as a credit toward their time in prison if they end up getting sentenced. Supporters say that's an incentive hard to ignore.
Keeping people in jail is an expensive problem. $142 a night per person. When House Bill 15 was signed in May, it promised to lower the number of people staying in jail as they awaited trial by moving them to an ankle bracelet monitoring system.
And then we can get them out back home, being back useful members of the community, working and not stuck in a pretrial facility.
Matthew Baskett manages Pioneer Peak Monitoring in Palmer. He says the bill encourages people to get off the state's payroll since they're paying for the ankle monitors out of pocket.
This way they're out paying for themselves to be out rather than it being stuck as a burden on the community.
This was an option to them before. The difference is the time they spend in the monitors can now be used toward their prison time if they're sentenced.
There's a big incentive for them to get out and do things correctly and stay out of trouble and not reoffend. Because if they get out and do it well, they're going to be able to get the credit for the time.
We spoke to one man using an ankle bracelet who wanted to remain anonymous.
If this is what it takes to get me back home to my kids, man, then that's what I'm going to do.
He said the device costs him $20 a day, but it allows him to keep his job and see his kids.
The device gave me the opportunity to just at least plead my innocence and have time with my kids, even if I did have to go back and have to do some jail time.
Alaska Department of Corrections Commissioner Ron Taylor said 28% of the state's prison population is people waiting for trial.
And you can actually see how that's grown.
HB 15 is part of a wider restructuring to get people out of DOC facilities and into society as they await trial.
That person is already connected to the community. They're able to work, they're able to not lose their housing, and they're able to stay connected to some of the resources that they already have access to in the community, whereas if they were inside of our institution, those things would be cut off for them.
He says the pretrial population has grown 81% in a decade, and the state's having trouble keeping up.
We need hard beds reserved for people who need to be there.
Now, with HB 15, he's expecting more people to opt for the ankle monitoring system than ever before, saving the state space and money.
Now, the bill allows the judge to decide who qualifies to pay for an ankle bracelet instead of going into a pretrial facility. So people like alleged murderers and other high-risk offenders won't be allowed to just go home. Joe and Emily?
All right, thanks, Eric.